guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, I will do a summary in chapter 2, configure a network operating system. So let's proceed. So we have a iOS bootcamp, basic device configuration, address scheme. So for 2.1 is iOS bootcamp. So as you can see, we have a shell, kernel, and hardware. So for OS shell, we have OS shell is either command line interface or CLI or graphical user interface GUI and enables user to interface with application. So it commonly used uh, in router or switch, so you can enable to use it for the application. So we have OS kernel communicates directly with the hardware and manage how hardware resources and are used to meet software requirements. So we have hardware. So as you can see, it is self-explanatory. So the physical part of computer, including underlying electronics. So purpose of OS using GUI enables user to use a mouse to make selection and run programs, enter text and text-based commands, and using CLI on Cisco iOS switch or router, as I said, enables a network technician to use a keyboard to run CLI-based and network programs, use a keyboard to enter text and text-based command, and there are many distinct variations of Cisco iOS for switches, router, and other Cisco networking devices. So numbered version of for given Cisco networking devices. So as you can see, it has a purpose of OS. All devices come with a default iOS and feature set. It is possible to upgrade the iOS version or feature set. So can be downloaded from the cisco.com. However, Cisco Connection Online CCO account is required. So focus of this course will be on Cisco iOS release 15.x point. So we have a three most common ways to access the iOS, which is we have a console port, secure shell, which is SSH, and telnet. For the console port, we have out of bound serial port used primarily for management purposes such as initial configuration of the router. So for the console port is serial port commonly used in the PC, so you can connect to the switch or router for the console port. So secure shell in-band method for remotely and securely establishing a CLI session over a network. User authentication password and commands sent over network are encrypted. So if you type in some password, so it has a encrypted. It is hidden for the password. As best practice, use SSH instead of telnet whenever possible. So telnet in-band interfaces remotely establishing a CLI session through a virtual interface over a network. User authentication password and commands are sent over network links. So we have PuTTY, we have Term. So we use regardless of access method of terminal emulation program will be acquired. Popular terminal emulation program include PuTTY, TerraTerm, Secure CRT, and OS X Terminal. So Cisco modes of operations. So we have a primary commands mode. So the user exec mode allows mode access to only a limited number of basic monitoring commands. So for the switch, we have switch default device. As you can see, it is the switch for the user exec mode, and then for the privilege exec mode, it can switch and hashtag and router hashtag. So privilege exec modes allows the execution configuration management commands, often referred as enable mode because it requires enable user exec command. So let's proceed. So configuration command modes. So the primary configuration mode is called global configuration or simply global config. So uses the configure terminal command to access. So changes made affect the operation of device. So we have specific sub-configuration modes can be accessed from the global configuration mode. So we have a interface mode and line mode. So to configure one of the network interface and to configure the console, aux, internet or SSH access. So uh, we have a commands here. We have enable, disable, exit, and works the same as end. So for the to move from user exit mode to privilege mode, use the enable command and then use return to your exec mode for use the disable command and then exit for the specific mode to previous more general mode such as interface mode to global config and then end can be used and exit out for the global configuration mode. We have a keyword and argument, a specific parameter defined in operating system and not predefined a value of variable defined by user. And we have a command syntax, description string, and ping IP address. So the command ping in the user, the argument is the ping address of the destination device such as a ping 10.10.10.5. So basic device configuration. So we have device name. So we have, as you can see, we have a three switches that enables an administrator to name a device, making it easier to identify in a network. So we have a switch floor 1, switch floor 2, and switch floor 3. So without a host name, network devices are difficult to identify the configuration purposes. So you have to label it or name it with the switches or routers. So configure hostname. So as you can see, we have configuration here. So switch, you have to type enable. So and then configure terminal. As you can see, we have a host name SW floor 1. So here it is. So let's proceed. And then step 2, limiting device access. Step 1, secure network device to physically limit access by placing them to wiring closet and locked racks. So step 2, enforce secure password as password are primary defense against unauthorized access network device. So we have a limit administrative access as follow, a strong password as suggested. So secure privilege exec access using the enable secret password. Global config command secure user access by configuring line console as follow. So we are securing user exec mode. So we have a line console 0 and the password we will use is password and then login. So description, command enters line console configuration and the line console password and the switch requires the password. So we have secure remote telnet or SSH access by configuring virtual terminal as VTY line as follows. So we have a line VTY015 password again. We have a password and then login same as the line console. So as you can see, we have secure privilege exec and then securing user exec the securing remote access. So encrypt password. So startup config and running config files display most password in plain text. This is security threat because anyone can see the password if they have access this file. So use the service password encryption for you to not for you to encrypted the password. So banner MOTD delimiter message delimiter command from the configuration mode. It has a, for example, if you type the banner MOTD warning, so if the unauthorized personnel access with our device, so the banner MOTD will appear. It the banner MOTD appear with the said warning unauthorized authorized personnel only. So it can um, distinguish if it as unauthorized. So syntax checker limiting access to switch. So as you can see, we have a encrypt all password enable. We have console line and VTY lines. So we will use save the running configuration file. You may use the uh, copy running config startup config command to save the running configuration for all your configuration, and then reload command for you to if configuration changes do not have desired, they can be removed. Individual or device can be rebooted. Let's save configuration. So reload privilege exec mode. So if you configure the switch physical, so if you configure, for example, um, you have typed the all password, line console, and line VTY, you may reload it for you to reboot all configuration file that you will use in the switch router. So if undesired changes were saved to startup config, it may be necessary to clear all the configuration using erase startup config privilege exec mode. So it can erase the startup config privilege exec mode. So notice that address scheme. So as you can see, we have a this is the IPv4 address are displayed dotted decimal format using consisting of 4 decimal numbers 0 and 255. So here's the Internet Protocol version for so TCP IPv4. So it commonly used for the static. So you have to input IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway. So interface and ports, we will not include that. Mm. So as you can see, to sign the IP configuration dynamic host protocol, so DHCP server. So this is the DHCP server, and this is use the following IP address. This is the static. Then the IP address uniquely identify the switch on the network. So subnet must identify the network and the host portion in the IP address. So using the no shutdown command. So ipconfig command host verify using ipconfig to verify the interface and address settings of intermediary devices like switches and routers. Use the show IP interface brief command, exec command. So ping command can be used as connectivity under the device network or website. So for example, we have a one switch and two desktop PC. So you have to go to the CMD or command prompt with the one switch with the one desktop, and then you have to ping the IP address of the uh, second desktop PC. So then we have so chapter summary, tracer. So this is the end of my video, and I hope you enjoy it, and thank you. Goodbye.